Hey guys, this is my sister Tara.
And this is my sister Brittany.
And welcome back to My Sister's Nightmare, a horror movie review channel for horror fans.
By horror fans. Don't move, man. Don't come any closer. I will shoot you. Stop! Stop! No! 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 Just let me walk, man! Just let me walk!
Pow!
Hey guys, and welcome back to another horror review. In our next installment in Home Invasion Month, we are reviewing
Don't Breathe, released in 2016. Don't breathe, Max. Don't breathe.
Do you want to tell them the cast?
Sure. So for our cast, we have Rocky, played by Jane Levy, Alex, played by Dylan Minnette, Money, played by Daniel Zavato, and Norman, played by Stephen Lang.
This movie is directed by Fayde Alvarez, who had previously directed the Evil Dead remake, which starred Jane Levy.
Yeah, that's pretty neat, huh?
Really good movie. Great remake. We will talk about that in the future.
We definitely will. So to give you like a brief summary about this movie, it takes place in Detroit. It's about three, I would say they're young adults. It doesn't really tell you.
Three delinquents.
Yeah, three delinquents. They're kind of like somewhat professional, like robbers, I would say. I mean, it seems like they have a system down. They find out about this house with this older man that won a lawsuit when his daughter was hit by a driver. So they're like, all right, score, we can go to this guy's house. They find out he's blind. They think it's going to be a quick, easy one, and boy, were they wrong.
And oh, are there some twists and turns in this one, guys.
Oh, yeah.
I love this movie. It's so original. It's so, like, full of suspense. Like, for all you suspense horror fans out there, this is really going to satisfy that.
Oh, yeah, like, we watched this movie the other night it was my first time watching it in probably like a year. And I just forgot how good it was. Like, I knew it was a good movie, but watching it again, I was like, oh yeah, this movie's rock solid.
It is. I mean, let's just start off with the acting.
The acting's really good. The only actor in this whole lineup that I don't really care for is Dylan Minnette. I just don't think he was a right fit for the role.
He didn't seem like the right fit for, like, the Detroit robber role. But also, my problem with him is He
always looks sad, too.
He always looks sad, and I think he does well in the right projects. But, like, for instance, he was in the recent Scream sequel, Scream 5. I didn't like him in that either.
Was it the Frosted Tips?
It was the Frosted Tips, the fact that his name was Wes, which I know they were... Whatever. Anyways. Yeah, the acting in this, though, overall is very good. Stephen Lang.
Oh my god.
As the
Fantastic.
blind man. Really, really good actor.
He's also playing like a retired army.
Yeah, military man of some sort.
Yeah, so he's pretty badass, too, and completely blind. His eyes are freaky looking. But he did such a good job.
He really did.
It was so believable.
And the thing with this movie, like I already touched on a little, is it's not like there's just like one twist or turn in it. There's several.
It starts off about a group of delinquents going in and robbing the house of a blind man, but that is not the story.
It's not the story. And another thing that I like about this movie that I think is unique in our lineup this month is that it tells the story from the intruder's point of view. Like, we're on the side of the home invaders in this home invasion movie.
Yeah.
But it's weird because there's so much character development. And there's so much richness to the characters. Like, we know about Rocky and how she comes from pretty low class life with a really scuzzy mother, and
Yeah.
she wants to get her little sister out of there, and they long for more, so that's kind of why she's doing this stuff. Even though it's wrong and it's not morally right, she's trying to get out of a really crappy situation that she's in.
And it is Detroit, and Detroit has a lot of poverty there too. So it's like the setting that they chose to do this story and makes sense with that.
It does make a lot of sense. That's another thing. I feel like this movie was shot so well.
It really was.
Like, it's visually interesting, a lot of it's in the dark, but it's still, it just keeps you on your toes the whole time. I love this movie.
Yeah, it's constant twists and turns. The biggest twist you find out is...
We're gonna, like all of our video, guys, it's gonna be full spoilers. So, if you haven't seen this movie, maybe watch it first and then come back to us, but yeah.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it and you don't want to know, shut us off now, go watch the movie, and then come back to us.
Worth it.
So moving on to the big twist. Bunny ends up getting killed, so Rocky and Alex end up in the basement. What do they find in the basement, Tex?
So in the basement they find, here's just a little backstory. So the reason that they're robbing this house is they find out that the blind man inside had a daughter who got hit in like a car accident.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then he won a big settlement, and that's why they're robbing this house.
Yeah.
So like Tex just said, they're in the basement. And what do they find?
Well, first of all, it's like a maze in that basement.
It is a maze.
It is a maze of, like, floor-to-ceiling shelving with shit on it. So they're going through this maze of a basement, trying to find their way out, and all of a sudden, a woman jumps out at them.
Chained up, gagged.
Chained up, gagged. They quickly realize it was the girl that killed this blind guy's daughter. He had her chained up in the basement.
The character's name is Cindy Roberts.
It's really screwed up. It's like the whole time you're kind of rooting for this blind man, and then this twist happens, and it's like, oh shit, he's actually not a good guy at all.
And you think this might be the end of the twist, that he's just got this girl chained up in the basement to, like, torture her or stuff?
No. So,
okay, you want to go?
yeah.
All right, go.
So, they get her uncuffed, because she's, like, chained and cuffed or whatever. They get her uncuffed, unlocked, everything, and they're heading up towards the bulkhead. They finally get the lock open, and they open the door, and Stephen Lang, Norman, standing there with a gun, pow, shoots at him, and he hits her. And what does he do after he accidentally hits her and realizes it's her that he hit?
He loses it, freaks out.
Bawling, snotting, snarling.
He eventually ends up getting a hold of Rocky and chaining her up down in the basement. And we see him as he's talking to her, heating something up.
Can we just pause real quick? I want to also point out the fact that his speech is really strange. And I think it's because he probably doesn't interact with a lot of people, so probably rarely ever has to really talk, because his voice sounds like he doesn't talk a lot. It's very, like, I don't know how to describe it, but do you know what I mean?
I do.
It's, like, really strange. So when he's talking, it's, like, almost hoarse and kind of broken at the same time. It's very interesting. I thought that was weird. Because also, where his house is in Detroit, there's no vacant homes within 4 blocks of his house as well. So it's not like he has neighbors or anything.
Right.
Detroit has a lot of areas like that too, so that's extremely realistic to me.
Lots of vacant houses.
Yeah.
And
so what does he tell Rocky when he has her chained up?
he tells Rocky in so many words that he lost a daughter, and that the only thing he wanted out of the girl was another daughter. So basically, while he's heating up this substance and telling Jane in so many words or telling Rocky, played by Jane, in so many words that he wants a daughter, and that he's never forced himself upon any woman. And then we see him heating up semen in a little tea tree cup. And then the movie just goes haywire.
You literally see him take a turkey baster and his semen. Oh my god, it makes me so gaggy.
Well, Rocky is freaking out, then strung up in the air.
Yeah, he hoists her up in the air and he comes over to her and she is freaking out. Like, she's thrashing and everything. Like, I'm not going to let this happen to me. And he takes a big pair of scissors and just kind of snips it next to her face. And it's a huge pair of scissors and it makes the full noise. And she's like, all right, I need to stop. What's he do after that? Just say it.
You say it.
Okay, so he's got her strung up. Her legs are kind of strung up too and apart. And you see him take the scissors and cut a hole in her pants right where, like, her vagina is. And it shows that turkey baster. And in slow motion, it shows like a drop of cum coming out of it. Oh, I hate it.
When right at that point, Alex comes from behind the blind man.
Smashes him in the head.
Thank God.
She doesn't get the cum put in her, thank God. Oh, I gotta get past it. Okay, so Alex, like, hits the guy in the head with a hammer a few times. They end up getting him chained up. They end up pretty much saying, fuck you, whatever. They get upstairs. They're working on unlocking the door. And then all of a sudden, there he is again, and he shoots Alex, like,
shoots him dead. And when he shoots Alex, it's like we're getting more towards the end of the film at this point. So you might think that there's going to be a final girl and guy in this one. But no, Alex kind of dies in the third act.
Yeah, you think they're both getting out and then it's going to be done. Nope. So it's
kind of another twist at this point. A smaller one, but still.
Yeah.
Because the movie, it's kind of geared you up to think that Rocky and Alex are going to, like, live, survive, run away, and live happily ever after. Like, you think that's probably going to be the outcome?
And it's literally just not the case.
Mm-mm.
So she takes off, hauling ass out of the house. Right as Alex got shot, he was just getting the door unlocked and opening it. So after Alex gets shot, Rocky takes off running. And then you think it's it. She's running full speed. She yells at him that he's useless out there. You know, you think she's getting away. And then he lets his dog out that chases her down. And Jesus Christ, it's like, oh my God, another twist.
Yeah, it doesn't stop, guys. It keeps you on, like I said, on your toes the whole time. This movie, like most movies we've reviewed so far, it's an hour and a half long. But that hour and a half is a quick-paced hour and a half.
It is just packed, yeah. Packed in a good way.
So suspenseful. Like we mentioned in the beginning of this review, I really loved the Evil Dead remake that Fayde Alvarez did. But that was more of a typical, like, blood, guts, you know, good old gore horror movie. This was just suspenseful and just
very suspenseful.
Like the title of the movie, Don't Breathe. There's times when you're not breathing watching this.
Yeah, it's literally, and I've said this in some of our other home invasion horror reviews, this movie truly is like a cat and mouse game. And the cat's a blind old man. The mouse are young adults. Oh my God. And they just, like, can't get away. He ends up dragging her back to the house.
There's more struggle. She ends up
getting away by setting off his security alarm. And that totally because he, I think, really, really relies on, like, his hearing.
Right.
Since he can't see. And people who are, like, blind, I think, are hypersensitive with their hearing. But when she set off that house alarm, he was fucked.
And to get into his basement it's not a regular set of stairs. It's like a ladder, right?
Yeah, you gotta climb down a ladder.
Because doesn't she knock him into the basement and he falls?
Yeah, she knocks him into the basement, he falls down, and then she just hauls ass out of there. And might I add, she hauls ass out of there with the money that they went there to get to begin with.
She does get the money.
And it's a lot more money than they
And
thought.
she's like running out of the house right when the cops are coming because of his security alarm.
Yeah.
And we think he's dead. We're like, okay, movie's over, he's dead. She's at the airport with her little sister.
She's at the airport with her little sister. The news comes on and it's talking about a retired vet whose home was invaded and he was assaulted, but he was able to kill the 2 invaders and didn't report anything missing.
And is still alive.
Deet, deet, deet. If you guys don't know this, there is a Don't Breathe 2 that we will be reviewing in the future, but I also highly recommend that movie. It's just a good one for, you know what I mean?
It is a good one. This movie, I remember when it first came out and I first saw it, it was so refreshing.
It was really refreshing, but you want to know the thing that sucked about the first time I watched it? I watched it with Dad. So that whole...
Oh, God, no!
The jizz in the syringe scene. Because one thing we didn't tell you is that, like, when Alex rescues Rocky...
Oh, God, no!
She takes that turkey baster full of jizz and fucking slams it in Norman's mouth and squeezes it. And you just see it come bubbling out of his trap.
Alright!
It's fucking nasty, Tex. Oh, that makes me want to...
I've had enough!
Fun fact, I did try to convince Tara that we should do the turkey baster scene for our intro, and I would fill it with mayonnaise and slam it in her trap, but she wouldn't let me do it.
God, hell on a cracker, Jesus Christ!
The movie's tough, but fun.
Let's get into the ratings, Lex.
Alright, Texas, so for ratings, IMDb is a 7.1.
Wow, good rating.
That's one of the highest ones we've done so far.
Warranted, but good. And Rotten Tomatoes gave it a resounding 88%.
What would you rate this? I know what I've got.
Oh, I love this movie. Do I have any problems with it?
I have one.
I mean, maybe that Dylan Minnette was a little miscast, but other than that,
That's my...
I'm going to give it like a 4.5.
Oh my god, that's what I was going to give it too, and the only reason why it's not a 5 is because of Dylan Minnette. I don't think he's the worst actor in the world.
Sorry, Dylan.
You just weren't right for this role, man. It was too...
Or Scream 5. Ooh!
He worked in like Open House and 13 Reasons and stuff, but like...
Open House and 13 Reasons, good examples of stuff you did work in.
Yeah, he did do good in those, but... Scream 5 was a big miss, and this was a miss too. He just doesn't give you the, like, delinquent vibe, you know what I mean? Like...
But I love Jane Levy, and I loved her in this.
Jane Levy was a good cast. I do think that Daniel Zavato, who played Money, was a really good cast for his role. He was just an asshole.
He was kind of a piece of shit.
He was just a typical scummy, like, piece of crap.
He deserved to die first.
The opening scene of the movie shows them in another home that they're robbing, and they make it out, whatever, but it shows him, like, pissing all over the house. Like, yeah, he just was a good job being a piece of crap. Ugh. Didn't like him. So, yeah, highly recommend this movie if you haven't seen it. Watch it!
If you haven't seen it, watch it, guys. Rent it, stream it, buy a copy of it. It's awesome.
It's very good. Highly recommend. Alright, guys. Thanks for joining us on another great review.
If you liked this video, hit that like button. Smash that goddamn subscribe button. Comment down below. Share with friends. And until next time, sweet dreams.
bitch.